This is a lyric template or song template that is handy for kind of plotting out your song. And you don't have to use it, but it can be very useful if you get stuck, especially people that have troubles with second verses, for example. This is a really good tool. Um, but I'm just going to share my screen and we'll talk about it in detail. Okay, so this is the template. Why it's useful, if you can kind of map out either in your brain or on paper or digitally what this is, where your song wants to go emotionally, you'll find that lyrics will become more natural when you go to write them, and they will also follow the themes that you've set out already, which usually makes for a better listening experience. So first of all, the general process I usually take here is maybe I've come with a lyrical idea like a title. I might have thought of that. Usually I have some impetus before starting this template, so I kind of don't start with a blank page, but you certainly can start with a blank page. If I have a title or a fragment of a lyric, I will write it up here. Uh, and then I will spend 10 minutes free writing on that idea. I'm sure most of you are aware of what free writing is, but I like to do free writing with something that I call scene writing, which is really free writing with a purpose in the back of your mind. So the idea is that you're never taking your fingers off the keyboard. You're constantly writing, and you're not letting your judgmental brain in. That's what free writing is. And then scene writing on top of that is just having a kind of background guidance to your free writing, which is so it gives a little bit of a direction and has some action in it. So the problem with like general free writing is that we can often fall into like just describing things. And while like list songs are okay, there's plenty of good list songs, which is just one thing after another list of things. Um, Usually we want to trigger more emotions in our listener, and to do that we want to be storytelling. So to do that we usually want to have some action in our songs. So the scene writing enables that. So we try to write to a scene, so you can imagine a scene. So you just say I come up with the title, I don't know, Gold in the Fire. And then I might think, what is a scene that could be talking about gold in the fire? Well, it could be, let's think. It says a fire, gold. Anyone can shout out if they've got an idea. Um,
Driving into the sunset.
Driving, perfect. Uh, Okay, but I into the sunset, but I want some action now. So what is driving into the sunset plus action? Like where I want to add some drama to that. So maybe driving into the sunset and my car starts to melt. Right. So then I have something, I have some action that will kind of fuel the free writing and hopefully give me more doing words. And then I will extract that into like a phrase pool. I'll write for 10 minutes and then extract some interesting words that come like usually there's a handful of lyrics or a handful of phrases at least or words that come out of that, and I extract them into a phrase pool. And so then I have a bunch of lyrics here, potential lyrics here that I can then go into theming the rest of the song. And very quickly, let's talk about what this thing means. So theme, tell, theme, show, and lyric. Once I have like a bunch of text that has come out of my brain and some phrases that are nice that I like, I might want to decide what the actual global theme is. Something, just say what it is. Don't try and use metaphors for a global theme. Just say what it is in clear, plain English. Once you have that, every section, you don't have to do this. As I said, there are songs that don't do this. There are songs that are just vibe, right? That don't actually tell stories, they just vibe. But a lot of songs will progress a story. So how do we progress a story while maintaining a theme? We write out the global theme and then we look for angles on that theme for every section. So what's Amy's theme? I'm just going to steal Amy's theme. So this is the global theme. And usually the global theme is going to be what the chorus is. So that is by default, unless I've got any better ideas, that is going to be the theme for the chorus. And then we can kind of work backwards is to what's an angle on that for a verse? What's an angle on that for a pre-chorus? Anyone other than Amy have any suggestions for what could be an angle on that? Like, how could we kind of not twist it necessarily, although that's one option, but maybe there's a more kind of micro view, or maybe there's a there's kind of part of a story. Like, how did we get there? Like, how letting things go, what is the thing? Letting go of how you think things should be. So maybe there's something that leads into that theme. Anyone, please feel free to come off mute and share an idea for a verse or a pre.
About holding tighter before.
Holding tighter. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, maybe the verse is yeah, exactly, about holding tight. So I'm holding too tight to whatever. Yeah, we can get specific. So maybe my relationship. And then anyway, so that's just that's like an overview of what telling the theme is. So then in verse, this is a great solution for people that get stuck on verse 2, because if you have that as a verse 1 theme, then verse 2, usually it's reasonably straightforward to come up with a theme that works, that will progress. So then the idea is that you're looking at this theme and you're thinking, okay, that's what I want to say, like that's what it needs to say, but how do I show that? Because our natural instinct as communicators is to like tell how it should be, like this is how it should be. But as creators, as a lyricist, we usually want to be demonstrating that with, not always with visuals. It still can be natural conversational language. But you know what, for example, so here's 2 examples. For I'm holding on too tight to my relationship. What does that look like? I can, of course, pull in phrases from my free writing as well. That might help. But what might that look like? It might look like, what does someone say that is holding on too tight? Someone that's holding on too tight might say, I don't like it when you're with your friends, or I need to be with you all the time. That's the kind of language that people might say. I mean, obviously this is my language, your language might be completely different. Or we could say, what does that look like? It can be metaphorical or not. But what does someone that's holding on too tight look like? Something, I'm thinking of something that is being constrained. So maybe maybe there's like a net or something. Maybe there's a net. I might at this point I might kind of go through list words. Nets, I don't know, even shopping bags. Anyway, that's the idea. Anyway, that is a very quick overview of writing from theme. I wanted to say it in the whole group because I will be touching on these when we go into our individual groups in a minute. But before we do that, any questions on writing from theme?